like I Hey guys, like I said before, I was gonna post another video, but I was gonna do more about where I've come from, what I've been through, and what I've experienced in my life to get me to the point where I am now, and wanting to reach other people and help expand their minds and reach their full potential. So I'm gonna get to it. My name is Anthony Colon. I was born in Chicago, Illinois, in the Humboldt Park area at St. Mary's Hospital. I was uh I was born in a Puerto Rican family. My mom is 100% Puerto Rican. My dad is Puerto Rican and Mexican, so I'm majority Puerto Rican. Um, and so, anyways, as a child, I experienced some traumatic experiences that just put me in a different mindset as a kid, and it evolved with me throughout my life. So, as a youth, first thing that I can remember is my sister passing away, and she passed away at birth, like as she was being born, she passed away. So it's like she got to take her first breath, and then she took her last one. Um, my grandma, not my aunt, my grandma shortly at like a few years after passed away as well, and then shortly after my cousin was murdered in Chicago in the Humboldt, right down the street from us. And so like experiencing all of those already at a young age would already put you in a different mindset as a kid. You're already experiencing people already leaving as you're just coming onto this earth to experience life. So it already puts you in a crazy mindset, like where do we go? Where are we headed to? Are we just here to die? Is that what we're living for? And that's what ran through my head as a child. And I remember these things, and I will always ask myself these things, but I always keep them to myself. And but yeah, anyways, I from that point we moved to a west side neighborhood called K-Town, and I lived there for a little bit. We only lived there for about a year. I went to a school called West Park Academy in that area, and like I said, we stood there for a year. And from that point we moved right there. Like we barely even had any furniture in that damn apartment. I remember we had no sofa. We had, like, when we watched TV, we had to sit in my mom's room and sit down and watch TV. And like they sat on the bed, we'd sit on the floor. And I remember that. We lived in the basement. And there was rats, roaches, always, like our food would always get infested with rats. Every morning there would be rat droppings on our tables, rats running behind the stove, in our cabinets, and everything that, like, so then we'll always have to throw away our food because our food would get infested with rats. And and so after that we moved to this area called Champaign. And during that time we moved in with our aunt for the summer in Savoy, which is right next to Champaign, Urbana area. It's not too far, but it's another town right next to it. But we lived with them until we could get back on our feet. Seemed like they were living a wonderful life, so we just wanted to experience that as well. And it was pretty cool. It was different. It was a change of environment. It was different. Um, and finally we got on our feet and moved to Champaign. Moved to Champaign, got a 3-bedroom apartment. That was the biggest apartment we ever lived in, and it was just an apartment, which was pretty cool to me because I had my own bedroom. When I lived in Humboldt Park, we lived in a 1-bedroom apartment. My mom and dad slept in the living room on a bed, and we had a big enough walk-in closet where you could put a mattress in the walk-in closet. So going from that to experiencing rats and roaches to a 3-bedroom apartment, that shit's a mansion to you, to us, so it was different, and it was cool. Um, and yeah, so we lived there for 2 years. Went to school out there for a little bit. We didn't really have a vehicle at that time either. I remember when we first moved there, like the first few months of us living there, we we dealt with not having a vehicle, so we had to walk from place to place. And just to do groceries, we had to go on a 2 hour long walk just to do groceries. When you're coming from Chicago, Chicago has grocery stores, or not even grocery stores, but they got corner stores. And corner stores, you can get whatever you need. You could get your rice, your beans, your bread, your food. You can get your basic necessities at those stores until you have to go to the grocery store. But if you need dinner, you could just walk 2 blocks and go get your dinner. You know, so it was very simple, very easy to commute, to get things together. When you move to a country area, that's when things start to become a little bit harder. And we had to walk to go do groceries, and like I said, it was a 2 hour long walk just to get there. That's not even counting the fact that you still got to walk around the grocery store to get the groceries, and still got to walk all the way back. And we did that as kids. We did that as a unit though, and we did it no complaining. Not one time did we ever complain about that. We loved it. We loved it because we loved life. And yeah, so from there, we lived there for a couple years. We finally did get some cars. They weren't the nicest of cars, but shit, they were cars, and they definitely got us around. My mom worked hard. She was a teller at a bank for a while. My dad, he didn't really do much. He worked, but he didn't really do much. To be honest, now that I look back at it, it's like he really didn't. It wasn't anything. And he wasn't really there, honestly. He was there, but not there. Like he didn't really want to spend time with the family. It's like my mom always spending the time with the family. I guess he had some demons that he had to take care of on his own, and only Lord knows what he has to deal with. And you know what? I can't judge any other man about what he's done in his life, but I know what he's done to hurt the family, and gotta let it go some way, somehow. I mean, I'm not gonna say that I respect him, but I'm gonna say this, that what I've been through is what molded me into the man I am today. And we had to go through all those experiences to get to where I am now, to where I'm wanting to reach out to other people. But we did move around a lot, and finally it did get to a point where we moved from Rantoul when my mom and dad split, and we moved up to my aunt's apartment in Naperville, Illinois, and that was even nicer than the country. But I mean, it was a lot more populated, so it made me feel like we were back in the city, and it made me feel a little bit more comfortable until you start going to the schools, and then you're just like, well, these kids are really wealthy. Like, I took a bus, so I went from the apartments to driving to the mansions, and you start seeing like different ways of people living, and you start to see the way different people really act, and the way people are really brought up. It's me, like, I didn't live in Chicago my whole entire life, but I did experience the poverty my whole entire life. I did experience the lower income qualities of life. I didn't experience the finest things in life. As a kid, we didn't really go on vacations. We didn't really, like, our vacations was going to the beach in Chicago. That was like going to North Avenue Beach. That was a vacation for us. You know, that we didn't go on no vacations. I didn't start going on vacations really until just recently. But yeah, so I experienced all the low income family qualities. Like, I experienced the having no food in the fridge, no food in the pantry, the like things of that nature, and wearing hand-me-down clothes from my cousins, who I was taller than at that time too. So it's like the clothes were small, the shoes were smaller, but I had to do what I had to do. And it was really tough. And I know I'm not trying to say it like oh man, my life was so miserable. I'm not saying it like that. I'm just saying it like it was tough for us as a whole, especially seeing like all these people wearing all these nice clothes, all this nice gear that they got on, and then you're wearing these hand-me-down clothes, and it starts to make you feel some type of way. It starts to make you feel like what is like, is God really real? Is he really trying to help us? If he's trying to really help us, then why is it that we're struggling so bad? Why is it that we're going through all this bullshit in our lives? And you start thinking more and more, and you start, I don't know, at that time I started just hating the world, like just looking at the world like, man, you know what? If nobody wants to love us, I ain't gonna show love to nobody. And I started becoming more hateful, more spiteful, and yeah, I started lashing out, like getting in trouble, just experienced the the worser ends of life, I guess I shall say. I don't know how to explain it. Um, as a youth, I mean, I didn't really get into like crazy trouble. I didn't really go to school to really get into trouble. I skipped a lot of school. My junior year, I actually did get locked up in my junior year, and that's when I caught my first felony. Was my junior year. I was 17 years old, and that was when they just changed the law from being, I think it was from being 18 or something like that, to being 17 to get tried as an adult. So I spent my first, like right when I turned 17, I was only 17 for like 3 months, and I spent my time in county. And I wasn't in no juvenile, I was in county. So I was in there with the grown folks that were going to prison, talking about how they're gonna do 10 plus years, 20 years. So I was experiencing that while everybody else is experiencing their childhood, or going on vacations, or about to get ready to graduate high school and things of that nature, you know. So my senior year comes, I dropped out. I felt like school just wasn't for me. And I hit the streets, really. And that's when I really hit the streets, and I stopped really being at home. I tried getting my GED. I went to an alternative school to go get my GED, and that didn't really work out too much. I started seeing once again, what is schooling getting me? Because I see my mom, she went to school, and we're still struggling. So if she went to school and we're still struggling, what the hell's the point of me going to school? I remember in the wintertime, before I went to this alternative school, the hot water was shut off in the middle of the wintertime. So I had to take ice cold showers. And like I had to take them at 5 o'clock in the morning. I didn't want to make all this noise making with pots and pans and boiling up the water and things of that nature. So I just sucked it up and took ice cold showers. And that shit was terrible. Terrible. I would never wish that upon anybody. Um, but yeah. So anyways, fast forward to like a couple years ago. Um, I was already battling a depression throughout this whole time, and I kept it all to myself. I kept it all inside. I already experienced having felonies and what felonies could bring you in life. I already experienced not having any education, and I experienced what it is like when the world sees you like that. And it seemed like a lot of my family turned their backs on me. It seemed like your friends get smaller and smaller. I did have a lot of good friends though, like a few good friends, and I still speak to them, a few of them still to this day. And because we experienced all the same things together as a unit, and it wasn't like me just experiencing this alone. They all experienced all their trial and errors as well. They all experienced everything as well. We all just experienced it in all different ways. And But yeah, so I was just battling a depression, and one day out of nowhere, a video popped up on my phone about this man named Alan Watts. A man named Alan Watts, and like he was a philosopher from like the 60s, like 60s or 70s. Like if you listen to his videos, you could tell like they're old videos. And yeah, I started watching them, and something just brought me to wanting to watch them. So I started viewing them, and then I got deeper and deeper into them. And all he preaches about is enlightenment, spirituality. He doesn't speak about religion. He views religion as just another man's opinion, which is how I always viewed religion. It's like I never really agreed with how religion is. I never really agreed with it. Don't don't hate me for it, but I do believe in God for sure. I do believe in the creator. I do believe that we are all connected to one source, and I do believe in that. But I do not believe in going to a church to praise another man like that. I don't know how to explain it. Like I said, I do believe in God. Um and that's really what led me to my spiritual awakening. That's really what led me to where I am now, to wanting to teach other people how to get to this point of enlightenment, because we all need to understand that there's a better way out there, that no matter what we've been through in our life, that we could overcome it through other people, through really getting inside of yourself. Because that's how, like, through Alan Watts videos is how I learned through meditation. I started finding about meditation, about the benefits of meditation. I started learning about the benefits of drinking certain waters. I started learning about the damage that like fluoride can do to us. I started learning about the damage that the foods that we eat can do to our brain and our pineal gland, which is what creates our dreams and our imagination. And that is a critical part of our brain that people don't understand, and that is where the imagination evolves. And like a child, that's where their imagination is. And the more you consume these toxic foods, the more you consume the media, the more you consume the television, the more you consume that, the more you block it. The more you block your imagination, the more you feed into this illusion that is in front of us. My goals for this channel though is to help people really expand their minds and really start to think, because that's one thing that I noticed that a lot of people don't do, is actually think. We think, but we really don't. And I had to come to a conclusion, and I had to accept responsibility of my own actions to finally understand that it's time for a change. And eventually I'll get everybody to that point. And I wouldn't say everybody, but I'll get a large amount of people to that point where they understand that it's time to change their mind, the way they think, because the way they're thinking is what's keeping them into that poverty mindset, into that depressed mindset, into that they have to impress everybody to make themselves feel good mindset, and I want to reach people like that. And I feel like if I could do that, I can help people evolve as human beings, and we can all evolve as righteous people and become good to one another and treat each other right. Basically, I wanna teach everybody that we all have a purpose in life. And I found my purpose. My purpose is to help other people expand their minds. I feel like this is my purpose because I feel really confident about this, and I feel like this is something that I need to do to help, just help the world, help who I can help, my family, my friends, their family, their friends. I just want to help. That's it. And if you guys agree with that, if you guys understand where I'm coming from, I'm gonna continue to post more videos. This one was just more of a letting you know what I've been through and a little bit of everything. You know, I don't get too deep into my personal life because that's my past, and I don't really want to. I mean, you guys really don't need to know all of my past. You know, just know that I did come from a struggle, and I am overcoming a struggle. I'm not rich yet, but richness all starts in the heart, anyways. If you cannot be happy or anything, then you, what's the point of being wealthy? There's very wealthy men out there that are extremely depressed, extremely lonely, because they didn't get right with the people. They didn't get right with the people who really mattered to them. Um, so we have to reach our full potential and understand that we're here to help other people out, and then that's where the riches will come in, is to help other people, and it will come to everyone. Everyone will learn that we can all eat. There's enough money in this world for us all to eat. We all just need to find out how to get it. What's the way of getting it? How can we reach it? How can we reach our purpose? What is our purpose? What can we do to get to that point? And that's what we need to look at. So on my next video, I'm gonna start helping expand your guys' minds. So if you guys are with me, then keep subscribing. Let's reach the masses. Let's reach the population. Like let's get this. Like we can get the people's mindset out of poverty. We can all live a wonderful life. I've experienced city life, country life, and suburb life, and I understand that there is a better life out there for everybody, but we just got to get it. And I'm not saying it's just gonna get handed to you. You got to put in the work. We all got to put in the work. People don't understand that a lot of these rich and wealthy people all started off as broke people too, but they put in that work and they got to the point that they are now in their lives. And there are people out there that are wanting to help other people expand their minds so that everybody can eat, because we know that is what this world needs. And we know, and once we get to that point where everybody is able to eat, once everybody is able to be happy and free, there's not going to be any more stress in this world. And then the government wouldn't really have to, there wouldn't be no need for a damn government, no government assistance, none of that. Start to find out that we don't really need that shit, that is just a setup for us to rely on another person. We don't need to rely on them. You need to rely on yourself, on what's inside of you, your heart, your brain. Your brain can do more wonders than you think. You don't use 5% of your brain. You use the full 100% of your brain. And that's where we got lied at that's where we first been lied to right there, was thinking that we only use 5% of our brain. That was already the first lie. So I want to help expand people's consciousness and teach them that we all have this potential in life. And you guys have a good one. Thank you. Bye.